To you, Anne.
All right, let's just hope give me a thumbs up, Heather, if you can hear me. All right, looks like we're in business now. I have a hero in the story in the background. His name's Adam Lee, and he drove down here and gave me his computer to use. So grateful for him for doing that. He rescued me. All right, that's what we do at PBD, right? We rescue each other. And right now, by watching this telethon and making your donation, you're rescuing us from a really difficult situation that is unprecedented in our time for the last 100 years at least. So take a minute right now, get your phone out, and text PBD Strong, one word, to 44321 and make a donation of any amount that's meaningful to you. Take a look at our thermometer. It's growing, $22,485. We are on our way. Remember that every single dollar that you donate today is matched by our board of directors. It's pretty amazing, up to $5,000. So we're going to be good. Okay, so I haven't had a chance to do this yet, but I'm really excited to draw a couple names for a prize. So I'm going to give away 3 of these t-shirts right now. Okay, 3 names. Here we go. I got my hat. First one goes to Melanie Nelson. Next, Jeff Bryan. And last, Sarah Lockett. You guys are the proud owners of a PBD I Danced Through Quarantine t-shirt. And we'll make sure we get those to you. So that's exciting. All right. Let's take a look at where we're at. Well, I'm next with the Gee family, which I'm super excited about. Let's see if the Gees are lined up. Hey. How are you, Gee family?
We're happy.
You're happy.
We get to visit with you, Anne.
Oh, that's so nice.
We're having a good time listening to everybody's stories. We haven't heard all these old stories before.
Yeah, it's super fun, isn't it?
Motivating, yeah.
It's pretty cool to see what's
next. Really hard.
What's that?
I said they're making us want to work really hard and practice a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I was listening to Chase talk about breaking his arm and remembering when my own kids have had injuries and how hard it is to not, performances are so important. They're like what you work for, and we're all kind of grieving now about not having our performance at nationals canceled. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today with you guys.
We all have a broken arm right now.
We'd rather have a broken arm?
I said we all have a broken arm.
Yeah, we do. It's a little bit of a hard time. We're making it through. But first, can you tell me about your PBD, like Genesis story? What got you started? Your family?
Well, Julia, our older sister, decided, she had a friend who said, you should come try ballroom dance. And I'd always wanted her to be part of dance somehow, but I had tried a couple of dance experiences and they were so expensive. And sometimes I wasn't really super happy about the costumes for little girls and the moves that they were doing. I was just like, I want to find a good experience for them, but I don't want it to be, it's hard to find the right experience with dance. So somehow she had a friend who recommended ballroom, and she started it at Aria in Redmond, and she loved the technique. Ballroom is pretty technical. You have to be patient with that. But she just, the only guys that there were to dance with were like up to here on her. She was in 8th grade, which is not all that much fun, honestly. So we got invited by Cressida Stavely. She gave me some free tickets to like the Christmas concert. And I went with Julia, and we were done. It was over. We were going to be at PBD for the rest of our lives because there were so many handsome, big teenage boys dancing. It's the right height. And yeah, it was just, we knew it was going to be fun. And I watched it and I thought, I bet Jamarca would have fun. We tried. There's Julia. Yeah, she loved it. Yep. She was not going to be doing anything else after that. And we thought Marco had tried some basketball. He tried some other things, but he really didn't have many aggressive bones in his body. And we were like, he needs something else. So we thought we'd try him on ballroom. And then he was on the preteen team with Heather Bryant. It was such a fun thing to be proud of.
Yeah.
That's where it all began.
I didn't really start liking it until Seattle show. And then I was like, wait, this is kind of fun.
So he's a little intimidated and always a little worried. You know, he wasn't all that confident. Marco, you know, you sometimes in school you get a little bullied, you have experiences that take away your confidence. And so he didn't really feel all that confident, but he was even going to quit until Julia decided to help out at Seattle show with Garrett Gibbons and Monique, and they just made that little quirky team so fun, so creative, and something to be so proud of. And they worked so hard on good technique. And
I remember that team. They were a lot of fun. They were a lot of fun. I think they were they were kind of special.
Garrett's a genius at making the underdogs feel proud of themselves. So
yeah, I think there's a special genius in choreographers that can take a group, such a wide mix of kids, and make them really shine on stage. I think that's one of the bits of magic that PBD and the choreographers here achieve.
So yeah.
Marco, was there like you said that your mom was talking about being shy and not confident, but you're certainly like, okay, so what I wanted to talk to you about in addition to nationals was like your ability to just emote on stage and to really connect emotionally with the audience. That doesn't sound at all anything like a shy kid. So tell me about, how did that change for you?
Well, I wouldn't say I was shy. I was shy in certain scenarios. I just didn't feel like I could be myself, or like I didn't feel confident in who I was. And even on JP, one time we all had to audition for a solo. And that just sounds so scary to me that I started crying.
There was a long, like 20-minute crying experience in the car on the way home where he's like, I'm not going to do it. I'm like, how to do it?
Yeah.
He was very ashamed of himself and sure nobody was going to like his dancing.
But then I got onto YP last year, and I'd say that's where it kind of changed for me, because I just, like, my friendships at school, I had friends, but then my school experience just went kind of downhill. And so I got to leave all that stress and all of those things behind me. And I was working hard, and I felt smart, and I felt confident, and I was a little bit taller than I was before. And so I just I used like emotions and experiences that I felt like I couldn't feel at school, and I just brought them to dance. And so, like, in the piece Hallelujah, the one about Brent's mom, I just kind of was able to put all those emotions into my dancing, and I worked hard for that piece, and I just really loved it, and it touched me. And a lot of it wasn't really acting. I was just kind of sad, but like not in the bad way. I was in the piece, and so it made me sad to think about it. And I just felt like the love that Brent has for his mom, and I don't know, I just learned to absorb the dance and the emotion behind it.
It's really beautiful. That really came across on stage. I remember watching you from the wings on that particular piece and being like, wow. Yeah, Lorenzo felt it too, right? So good. So good. All right, Lorenzo, it's time for you to chat. So you actually seem to have your own dance transformation. I know I've talked about this, but you seem to kind of make some huge leaps forward in the last couple of years as well. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, I started like in 4th grade. My parents or my mom brought me to dance just because she wanted me to be doing something, and I didn't like it. I think I cried like multiple times. I had to be there for like 4 weeks, but I did not dance. So from 4th grade to 6th grade, I didn't do dance. But in 6th grade, when I was in 6th grade, Mark was in 8th grade, and he got onto JP, and I just saw his adventure through that year on JP, and then and that was the year that Julie was on YP too. So both of my siblings were on premier teams, and then I watched Our Story. I mean, I've watched all the concerts since they pretty much joined, but I watched Our Story, and it just it touched me, and I thought it was so good. So I decided to join. And when I joined, I was in 7th grade, and I just decided I'm going to do this. I'm going to put all my mind to it. I'm going to really try. So I don't know. I've just tried to try to make myself look good. And I've always had Marco to look up to when it comes to looking good. And I've learned how to be around people. Being on team, I got into JP my 2nd year, and being on team was just an amazing experience. I couldn't switch out anything. It was such a relief because I had just moved to another school and I just really needed it. And I gotta admit, winning nationals was like the best feeling ever. Every time I think about that, that moment where they said BYU got 2nd and we all started screaming, gives me chills. And I think that, I don't know, just every year I try my hardest to improve, and I focus on improving. And this year, I'm not the best performer, but I'm trying to work on that. And I enjoy the people, but I also enjoy the work.
It's a funny thing to talk about being the best performer because I mean, that it means you're comparing yourself, right, to someone else or some standard. But I mean, Mig in the background is just perfect. Like, you're doing an amazing job. Look at that beautiful picture. You've had a great year with competition. It's been so much fun to watch you. So I'm willing to bet that you've done your best because it really shows like you put yourself totally into it. Like you said, you're really committed, and that really comes across. It's a good one. All right, so that's a nationals picture from this year. Oh, hey, look there.
Oh, let's go. That is
a great photo, by the way. Whoever took it, they're amazing.
Yeah, there's a couple of me flying in this number. Yeah, it's really fun.
We love the photographers that take the pictures.
They when Heather brought up that idea, I was like a bit surprised.
Oh yeah, I love the Dancing Queen too. So good. All right, what do you? Let's look at all the photos, Meg. Can you cycle them through? Oh yes.
Michaela's braces. What a nice memory.
Yeah, I think this is on preteen.
Yes.
Yeah. With Beth, right?
With Beth. You've been doing this a long time.
There's Mason and Megan.
Well, let's talk a little bit about nationals. Let's talk about that moment when you realized it wasn't going to happen, that it was canceled. When did that sink in for you, and how did you deal with it?
So when they made the announcement, I was on the on deck area to compete Open Latin, and everyone was talking, and I was like, stop talking. And then finally everyone stopped talking, and then they just said, we're going to finish tonight, and that's it. That's our nationals. And I looked at Hannah, who's a senior this year, and I was like, oh no, this is her last time. I don't even know how I would be able to stomach that. And she just started crying, and I started crying because I love nationals. We worked so hard, and it's just all the pain and the physical trial that team is. It always pays off at nationals because it, like, even though it is hard, it feels so good. So we had to go compete with her mascara running down her face, and then we were like, oh, we're not going to get called back. So she took out her earrings. She got dress coded because she had mesh on her back, and so we had to fix that. And then we did get called back, and we had to go out again, and it was a mess, but it was fun to compete because competing is always fun. And then it was just,
I had no idea that you were between rounds when the announcement came out. I mean,
yeah,
so dramatic, so hard to keep going.
yeah, but I
How did you make it through? Like, what was it that, like, so you go on this roller coaster where you're down and then you come out. What was the thing that that's helped you rebound from that? And did you right away? Did it take a little while, or were you able to kind of rally that night?
well, I was really like upset, and so I wouldn't say that night I was okay, but the next day, even though I was sad that we were going home, Sarah Cook is kind of my role model because she was always super positive all the time, even when things weren't going all her way. And so I just kind of was like, there's no point in being negative and super upset, even though I was still super like sad inside and it was kind of like a pit. I decided I might as well just make the best of it and be with the people that I love for the next 12 hours until we get home.
Mm-hmm.
That's what brought me out of just feeling sorry for myself.
That experience at nationals is so unique, and I think the organizers of that event were heroic, and the amount, like, I think they were well into late in the night adding on events. It was pretty amazing. My own experience, I kept like my chin up. I was in a good mood until we got on the plane, and then I was a mess for like 24 hours. I was like opposite of you. I was like, oh, it's all right, we got this. And then like wasn't good. It was a hard time. What about you, Lorenzo?
So when they made the announcement, my team was actually practicing in one of the BYU studios. So we actually first heard about the Washington schools closing. So we realized we're not going to have dance for possibly the rest of the year. And we all were like, everyone was really sad about that. I for some reason I was just focused on, I wanted to practice so that we could do well. And then we heard more, and it was Nationals is closing, and I was just like, whoa. And then we all cleared out and we started going to the vans, and at the vans I started crying just because I was really sad about the team that I couldn't perform my team thing. And then we got to the Marriott Center and I started crying harder because I'm moving up to youth, and I realized I might not see anyone on my team like in this state for 3 years, and that was just devastating to me, and it was really sad. And I went into the Marriott Center and I kept on crying, and I tried to find Logan Christosimo because sometimes he can be a real light bringer and a lightener to me at times. And we were talking about it, and I was like, I don't want to perform. I had one event that day, one more event. I don't want to perform Junior 2 Championship Smooth. And then me and Ava eventually got ready. It was like 7 o'clock. I decided I was still going to do it. And then I realized at that time, there was only 4 more couples from representing PBD the rest of the night. It was me and Ava. I'm going to say Logan and Lauren, and Jackson and Nicole, and Adam and Rachel. So I just took that chance. Me and Logan were competing with each other, and we just psyched each other up before each round. And we're like, we are representing PBD. Let's do as well as we can. And just the idea of everyone in the stands looking at me to perform for PBD. I think those were the best friends I've ever danced. It was so out of this world. That really brought the energy out of me.
What an unusual and unique experience. I appreciate hearing your perspective on that, because you guys were right there in the midst of like the drama and the emotion of that situation. We're just about done, Erin, but I want to hear what about you? How was it like for you as a parent?
Well, I was just sad. Like, Nationals is one of our highlights of our year. It's like our family vacation, and dad was there, everybody was there, grandma's there. We're all ready to watch. But it was a sweet thing in a way, partly because the even the preliminary round of especially Accelerate was just such an electric, amazing experience. Just I had the fun of watching all of the little practice videos. That's a great thing to be on the practice videos, watching them from the conception from John Graham, the little bits, and then just gets a little better every week. And then anyway,
what Erin's talking about is that the whole process is sort of available to parents in a way through the band app that we use to communicate as teams. And Erin is well known. She is like the best cheerleader, like so encouraging.
Little creepy, but I do love to watch those videos.
Your comments are like favorites. Everyone loves them. They're so great and uplifting and powerful.
It's a nice way to say it. Thank you. But anyway, so I was ready to watch that routine, and there's a lot of pressure on having prepared so carefully every detail for all those kids trying to be so unified. But when they came on and they danced with such unity, and the audience just felt that, like, it was just, I don't know if my parents realized, but I realized, I was like, this is going so well. This is so exciting. So even though I think that when I found out that it was not happening anymore, I was just so glad that they had had some good experiences. And then another moment that made it okay was that after, like Lorenzo was talking, I never heard that story. Thank you for asking that good question. I never heard Lorenzo's story, but he did come up after he got out of the competition, the smooth competition at the very end on that last day. And he came up and he was crying and sad because he wasn't going to get a chance to dance with Carissa, some things, and that was really sad, and stuff they'd worked on. But also, he was cheering and excited for someone else and wanting someone that he just met at that dance competition. He just met them. And so he was like, hey, I want this guy to win. And I think that to me is like the essence of the whole Nationals experience. First of all, you go because you're going to get humbled, which is great, right? You're going to get humbled because people are going to be way better than you are. It's always part of it. But also you go and you're going to get the chance to like be excited for other people's good dancing, which is just, it's all as a healthy thing. And also you're going to go because PBD is going to make you proud, and there's going to be some moments of whoever, the preteen team, whoever, somebody, the youth show team, somebody's going to do something that you're going to have the experience of thinking.
It's so much fun.
Part of a good thing. Yeah.
I agree. It's such a treat to be a part of such an amazing event. I'm glad that we make those sacrifices to go down there. So thank you so much, Gee family. You are a treat and a treasure.
Thank you for asking the good questions. We love to talk.
Oh, it's so good to hear your stories. All right, we're gonna I'm gonna pass my baton back over to Heather, and
Love you.
Love you too. Bye, guys.